So here we got 4 controllers here. This is the Nintendo Switch Pro controller, the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Edition. So this works on the Switch just fine. Any Super Smash Bros. Fan or Nintendo fan will likely choose this controllers. But what if you getting tired of using your usual Nintendo Switch Pro controllers? What if you want to use your original GameCube controllers? Or your original Super Nintendo controllers? Or what about your Nintendo Wii Classic controllers? This is the Zelda Gold Edition version, I think. Well, thanks to our pal at 8Bitdo, yeah, we got an adapter that could finally make that happen. So this right here is the GBros from 8Bitdos. It's a Bluetooth adapters that connects to GameCube and Wii controller ports. So if this side on the left side of the GBros here, you got the Wii connector here, and on the right you got the GameCube connector here. So what you would do is, if you wanted to use classic controllers on it, basically anything that can plug into a Wii remote, an NES or Super NES Classics will go on this side, and anything that will plug into the GameCube should go this side. Fortunately, the thing is that once you plug them in there, they should act like as if they are a wireless controller. So if you plug this GameCube into the GameCube side, then now the GameCube controller becomes a wireless controller, while still having the wire hook up to it. So yeah. And on the GBros itself, it also got additional modern stuff added to it too. So this side here, on the left side here, you got your screenshot buttons and the menu button. So this will let you return back to the Switch menu screen. And right here you got a toggle between the Nintendo Switch and the PC. So if you want to use the GBros to play all your PC games, you can do that. And the yellow button here is the sync buttons for when you just want to sync this to any the supported device that you have. But this thing does not run by itself though. You have to power it through a battery. So on the back here you can see that it uses 2 AA batteries. So here we got 2 Energizer batteries. So without it, you can't even run it. But that's good because now you don't have to worry about recharging it. Up here, you got a micro USB ports for data transfer. You might need this if you want to update this thing, because the more update you get, the more better this thing will be. So over time, 8Bitdo will update this to support more accessories out there for both GameCube and Wii. But as of now, every controller that we got in here should work with the GBros here. So we'll test this out with all 3 of these. The Super Nintendo controller will not be able to connect to this thing, but we do have an adapter that will fix that. So we'll test that too. Okay, so we're on the Nintendo Switch controller screen now. So all we gotta do with the GBros is we're gonna hit the home buttons once and then hit the sync buttons. So there it goes. So now whichever controller we plug into the GBros will be the one we use as a wireless controller. So if we press A here, there it goes. So now our GameCube controller will be our Switch controller this time. This is an original old-fashioned GameCube controllers. If you want, you can use this. Yeah, so you can just go around like that. So our GameCube controller is now a Nintendo Switch controller. So let's try out some Super Smash Bros. Here. and we're gonna play it like we play on the GameCube. So let's see how it works, because sometimes this GBros could also easily lose connections too, but with this adapters and this controller, I've tried a few times and it works just fine. So okay, so here we are. And this is, I just put the time limit to at least 1 minute. CPU level is okay, so we just start. I'll fight at Dracula's castle. So let's see. Kazuya. Let's fight whoever the computer has. So it's Kazuya versus Lucas. So yeah, it works just fine. Works just like how it was on the GameCube. So as you can see, here we So that's Super Smash Bros. Right there. I'm just really testing the controller out here now, so. Alright, so to return back to the Switch menu, you press the red button here, and it'll return back to the menu like that. So, we have tried out Super Smash Brothers. So if we don't need this controller anymore, we just had to take it off. And now the GameCube controller is no longer hooked up to it. So if we want to use a Wii controller, like the Wii Classic controller here, all we gotta do is plug in this cord. So we plug this cord to the Wii side of the GBros. So now, yeah, the Wii Classic controller here can now be played on the Switch. So if you want, let's go try some Shredder's Revenge and see how that goes. So this will be like playing on the old Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis. Alright, so here's some Ninja Turtle Shredder's Revenge on the Wii controller. So we continue from where we last left. Okay, so we got Leo, Mike, Ralph, April. So let's see. Let's try. So I'll just play with Leonardo here. Yes. Mutants over Broadway. Alright, there he goes. So if we press Y, yeah, everything that should work has worked. So, and I don't feel any input lags or anything on this. This plays just fine. Oh yeah, come on. So as we go, yeah. So that's good. That's pretty much how it goes. Okay, so that's good right there. Pressing the red buttons to return back. And if we press X here, that closes the software. So what if we want to play the Super Nintendo controllers? So now we take the Wii controller out. So now, because the Super Nintendo doesn't have a connector on the GBros, yeah, look how long this is. So now we just have to plug into this HyperCin adapter, and the HyperCin adapter works really well here too. So basically all we do is plug it into that, like that. And now we take this HyperCin adapter, because it uses the Wii connector thing. We're gonna put it at the Wii side. And now our Super Nintendo controllers is a Switch controller now. So it's gonna be going through the GBros if we're pressing left and right like that, and we'll press A just like that. Yeah, so let's try ourselves an arcade on the Capcom collection here, because a lot of them works great with this controller. So here he is, Capcom Arcade Stadium. So we're gonna try ourselves some Street Fighter 2 Turbo, some old school Final Fight and all that stuff, and see how it goes. It'll be just like on Super Nintendo, but with better stuff, I suppose. Okay, the server is currently underground. Yeah, they have maintenance on this shit all the time, so we just close it, and we're not gonna connect it. So the good thing is that you can still play games offline even when the server is down. So let's just connect to Street Fighter 2 Turbo. I'm gonna go and change my controller. So let's enter the game first, and then we'll. Okay, and because let's see, let's go. That will give us some credits, but because we don't have the stick, because you really need the stick to enter the menu, we can still use the Switch controller to do that. So that's the only bummer about this collection, is because you can't really use you don't have the sticks for shortcuts. So we go here, go to controller settings. You gotta press the thing again on the, so we have to press on this, make sure that that is on. There it goes. I want our Switch controller to be the second controller, so that we can access that menu every time. So we're gonna fix this controller setting so it'll match the one on Super Nintendo. So I want light punch here, medium punch here, Heavy punch there. I don't know why did it work. Okay, that. Alright, that's how we want. So we're gonna save that. And now we can play the game the proper way. So right now I'm playing Ryu. Yeah, and it plays similar to how you would play at the arcade, just with Super Nintendo. So this is basically Super Nintendo if it got everything from the arcade. The only difference is that, yeah, it does give you a little bit of input lags in between connection though. So it's not gonna be a one-to-one control like you would on a Super Nintendo. That's the reason why I wasn't able to get much of the moves out from Ryu as quick as I could. But it does work. And the arcade game is harder than the Super Nintendo one, so there it goes. There he goes. Happened to beat her just like that. If only it's super consistent like the Super Nintendo one, it'll be great. But you don't have super consistency with these adapter here. Oh no! Lightning kick. And Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo is the game I loved the most back in the days. There he goes. Managed to barely beat her. So yeah, that's how it is. If you want to play old school controllers on your Switch, yeah, this GBros, this GBros here happened to do the trick. So unplug it, and we got the GBros on its own. So even though we unplug everything, this thing still acts as if it's its own controller. So it'll only give you access to control if you have anything plugged into these. I would not recommend you to plug controllers on both of them at the same time, because then the GBros get confused sometimes and may glitch out. Not only that, but yeah, if you wanna, not every adapter will work on the GBros. For example, this very crappy Mayflash adapter will not work. This one has a Genesis port and a Super Nintendo port. Every time I plug this into the GBros and use a controller, it mostly just send me to sleep mode and all that stuff, so I don't want that to happen. Not only that, but a lot of the RAFnet adapters, such as this one, also doesn't work very well with it. It has a Super Nintendo connection too, but unlike the Hyperkin one, for some reason this one, it lets you enter the game, but you can't come back out for some reason. It doesn't let you exit the game. Even though, yeah, this button for some reason got disabled when you plug that in. I don't know how that is, but I don't recommend using any other adapter other than this Hyperkin one, which is much better. Hyperkin only made 2 adapters so far, I think. The Super Nintendo one and the NES one that plugs into the Wii. So if you got anything that could plug into the Wii, you could test it, but I don't think that most of them will work as well. So I'm lucky that the Hyperkin one works, because of that, I was able to use a Super Nintendo controller on it. Also, with that working, you can even go nuts with it and try old-fashioned Super Nintendo controller like this Fighter Path. It works very well on Street Fighter, and if you want to do like, I don't know, 100 hand slaps or 1,000 burst kick with Honda and Chun-Li, you can use it. The turbo still works just fine. Same thing if you want to play NSO stuff on it too. So yeah, my final opinions on this GBros. I think it's a really neat little accessory here. So you can use this to play basically every game on your Nintendo Switch if you want to, as long as you have something that hookups via GameCube or via your Nintendo Wii. The one thing that most people wondering about is, does the Wavebird also works on this? And I say it will work. It's just that you need something to plug it in here, because that dongle that the Wavebird came with does not fit this thing. I think 8Bitdo was able to kind of prevent that from working, because it makes sense why it wouldn't work though. Because basically when you're playing the Wavebird, you're basically playing a wireless connection already. You're using the Wavebird as a wireless. So if you plug that to here, you're basically transferring the perfect 2.4 gigahertz wireless and changing it into the more kind of complicated Bluetooth wireless. So this is only Bluetooth. This is not 2.4 gigahertz. So basically what I'm saying is, you're basically sending one cell to another cell. It's kind of like if you if you're playing, if you're sailing on an ocean somewhere, right? Your Wavebird is like an island, and it wants to send signal to another islands. Basically, with the GameCube, if you're playing the Wavebird, the 2.4 gigahertz is basically its sailing trail. 2.4 gigahertz is like fresh water, so it has no problem sending signal to the GameCube, and because the GameCube is basically the land. So, but with this GBros, yeah, that causes issue, because you're sending one wireless signal to this one to another wireless signal. 2.4 gigahertz is fresh water. Now you're entering salt water, which is the Bluetooth wireless signal. And you know what happened on salt waters? Salt waters, you can, I don't know, get bumped by dolphins, get chased by crocodiles, get attacked by sharks. That's basically what Bluetooth wireless is like. Like you get interference, interruptions, even hazardous things, lags, all that stuff. Whereas 2.4 gigahertz, you don't get all that. So, so I don't recommend using the Wavebird with this. It's better if you have like a GameCube, like, I don't know, a GameCube adapter that plugs directly into the Wii or the Nintendo Switch USB. Then you get good connections. But for the GBros, I really recommend it if you just use it for controllers and not the other wireless one. So yeah, so this GBros, if I should give it a grade, definitely an A+ as well. It's not perfect. You do kind of get lag depending on which controller or adapter you use. The GameCube and Wii controllers, like these work just fine. They hardly don't have much lag. But when you get to these, the classic Super Nintendo controllers will have lags on this adapter here, and that's because you have to connect them through a different adapter. So this thing is what caused the lag, not the GBro. So it has to send signal to this and then kind of convert that signal to that and then send that through Bluetooth. So I'm Voan, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you. Hopefully they still sell these too, because I bought these a long time ago, 2019 I assume. So if you can still find them, these are really great products. If you still have like old school controller lying around, you can just pop these in, plug in controllers, and there you go. So yeah, And I'll catch you guys next time, guys.